What happens to a house when the weather drains away? Part 2. 2. Wiring. Switching on electricity and gas after a flood can be very dangerous, so it's important to get surfaces checked by an expert. Modern wiring can withstand a short period of flooding, but if a property has been flooded for more than a few hours, it will probably need rewiring, downside at least. My experience of flooding is that if water gets in, it never dries out completely. The plug sockets get saturated and have to be replaced, and dampness go into the cable, says Knight. An electrician will also give junction boxes, socket outlets, light switches, and ceiling connection a thorough check to ensure there is no water trapped inside them. Of course, it's not just a water can cause damage. My plug socket has dried poo inside them, says Donna of her 2000s flooding. Raw sewage and surface water runs about 3 feet. Her flood recovery guide also advises making sure the gas is checked out, as the meter, flues or ventilation systems might be damaged, even if appliances appears to be unaffected. When it comes to rewiring, placing sockets further up a wall can help protect a property from future flood damage. 3. Foundations. Knight says it's hard to be sure how solid a property's foundations are after flooding, as some problem may take years to materialize. You need to dig trial holes to see what problems are at footing level. There might be movement of soil, swelling and contracting, he says. There can be subsidence, which cause foundation to sink and heave, which forces foundations upwards. Subsidence occurs when the ground under a building shrinks through a lack of water, whereas heave occurs when the ground expands because of excess water. There is also the possibility of sinkholes, says Knight. Signs to watch out for are cracks and general movements in the buildings, but both can often remain undetected for some time. One property I dealt with has subsided 5 years after the flood, another 6 years. I'd say 2 of the 12 flooded houses I've worked on have had it, so that's nearly 20%, he says. Other indicators of structural damage include buckling on walls, bulging or dislodged sections of property, and new cracks above windows or doors. 4. Floors. When a property has been flooded, floor coverings such as carpet will have to come up. Donau advises people to cut off a small piece of carpet and underlay and put them in a plastic bag to show inches. Tiles will also have to be lifted to check whether water has seeped underneath. Laminate flooring panels are so likely to have swollen and sprung up from the floor, so will need to be removed. It is unlikely that they will able to relate, even once they have dried out, according to Donau. If floor joists show signs of rot, they will also need to be replaced, treating the surrounding area to prevent spread, she says. Insulation materials that have become wet should also be removed, disposed of and replaced. For those that are concerned about whether there is moisture in the floor, the best way to test it is to use a meter. According to insurance company Aviva, it says the safe moisture level for soft woods is 18%.